Today's episode is brought to you by Forvis Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. You may have a great product or service, but without the right people to help sell, promote and grow the business, you're not likely to get very far. Ilona Charles is CEO and founder of HR specialists Shilo People, and she's witnessed countless businesses falter due to the lack of a solid HR strategy. Chris Ashmore begins by asking Ilona what she believes the core purpose of HR actually is.
You know, HR's evolved over the time. I think an HR, human resources, as we still are largely known, but it's called by many things now. But I think the ultimate purpose now is actually around what I would call workforce effectiveness. And hopefully that's not too jargony, but it's how do you support a business to make sure that your workforce, which is usually your biggest cost, is as effective as it possibly can be in terms of being able to deliver on your business outcomes. So it's all about workforce to me now. It's, you know, what are all the things that go into making a workforce successful?
Well, that's a big answer.
Yeah.
Really.
Sounds like a really big job.
It does. In terms of the HR team, what makes a good HR team?
Yeah, I think, and I do get on my soapbox a little bit about this, I think really good HR people have a high level of curiosity and interest in the business that they're supporting. So, you know, HR can move across all industries and all business sizes. People are people. But at the end of the day, if you want your HR initiatives to get traction and you want to be valued, you really need to understand the business you're working in. You need to understand what the key drivers are, what are the success factors, what drives the profit and the revenues. And a lot of HR people, I think, and I'm generalising, there's lots of great HR people, don't necessarily think those things through, and they'll look at what best practice might be, you know, globally, and it's like, well, our business might not be ready for that best practice yet. So what's right for us now? Based on where the business wants to go. That's to me what, you know, boils down to a good HR team. They're just very interested and competent, obviously, technically, but to me that sort of goes without saying.
Yeah. Does it make sense to hire someone for the HR team who has been in the same industry, or doesn't it matter? Is it sometimes a good idea to have someone who's come from a different industry?
I think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's a silly idea. I think HR, it should be agnostic in that you can work across industries. I'm not one of those people that say you have to come from a certain industry background, but there will be certain industries where having some of that knowledge is helpful and probably helps you hit the ground running more quickly. I do think one of the areas from my own experience that does require a little bit of experience is the technology sort of sector. And every sector and industry will say they're special or unique in some way, but there are some nuances, I think, with tech. And I won't bore you with that today because it'll take too long, but where industry experience can be helpful.
When it comes to a business using its HR function, how should they go about doing that?
HR, like any team in the organisations, needs to have very clear goals and strategy. So, you know, they need to be measurable. And sometimes with people work, it's hard to measure the return on investment. But I still think you need clear goals and objectives. I think much more data-driven strategies, I think, is important. I think there's a lot of employee information and data and external data that we can use to really inform our strategies as an HR group, rather than just sort of, you know, finger in the air sort of stuff. There's lots of other things, but I think having an HR team that really fosters that sort of continuous improvement and are constantly challenging themselves is also a really good attribute to have. And I think, you know, the CEO or whoever's managing the HR team can certainly hold them to account through a few of those things.
Any final thoughts on how HR can help business success?
Just getting really in and under the business and what drives it, and making sure that your HR strategy aligns to those business goals and that you're adaptable enough to change it as needed, rather than sort of having it all set in concrete. But I think also having HR involved early is really important, and not leaving it till things are all going wrong, because obviously then it takes a lot more time and money to fix things as well.
That was Ilona Charles, founder and CEO of Shilo People. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more B Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily Podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Forvis Mazars. To find out more, visit forvismazars.com/au. That's FORVISMAZARS.com/au.